And here you are experiencing the moment, and the opportunity to experience the moment, the gift of the moment. And really that's what we want to focus on tonight. The gift of the moment. This is how we see it goes down. Okay? You have an experience. What's an experience? What's a good experience that happens? Going for a walk in the park like you like to go. Going on a hike. Okay, so walking in the park. Yeah? You all know about walking in a park. So you're going on a walk in a park. You're taking in the beauty. You're taking in the fresh air. You're out from in front of the computer. Imagine that. You're going along. You're walking in the park. You shared, Richard, before that the temptation for you, because you weren't on a trail, was to think you might step in an animal hole and hurt your ankle or something like that. But even if you're walking on a trail, even if you're feeling like that's not jeopardizing you, you're set up mentally, brain-wise, to connect things, right? You connect things. So often you smell a smell and the next thing you know, you're remembering something from the past. Or, you know, you see a couple walking along holding hands and you think, oh, I hope someday I meet someone that I can have holding hands with, right? You know that one. So you're set up to connect things. Now this is the survival instinct at work. The survival instinct, of course, says a lot of things will kill you, and the survival instinct is going to keep track of all those things, and it's going to be looking out for more all the time, which makes it very challenging to grow. Okay, we've established this idea. It's very challenging to grow when you're trying to stay small to stay alive. You've come into this incarnation. The vast majority of you are in a position where you are not in hazardous moments. And if you are, you're choosing them rather than them being fostered upon you. Like climbing up a big tree, right? You're not walking down the street with somebody with swords trying to hack off your limbs, right? Difference of, got it? Everybody on the same page? Okay. So as you come into the moment, walking in the park, and you start to connect things. For Veronica, one of her cats is named Redwood. So she sees a redwood tree, she thinks of her cat, right? Or she sees a redwood tree and she thinks about the last time she went to the big redwood tree forest up in Guerneville, right? Who was she with? Who'd she talk to? Us, usually. Anyway, on and on and on. Yeah, we love going to the redwood forest, so we talked to her the whole time. So those connections are what you want to start being extra aware of. This is like the red flags are out. Red flags, you're doing connections. Because the connections aren't in the moment. Now you might say, well, I'm thinking about redwood trees and I'm looking at a redwood tree, so that's the moment. You're thinking about your experience of a redwood tree previously. That's not the moment. You might be able to wiggle yourself into the idea that that's the moment. And sure, maybe it is. We don't care. But for this definition, for the new definition of the moment, let's say that when you're looking at a redwood tree, if you're thinking about a previous experience of that tree, if you're thinking about how it's your cat's name, if you're thinking about last time you went to the redwoods, we're not going to call that the moment. What we're going to call the moment is your insight that you receive about that experience. The insight you receive about that experience. So what is insight? Insight is thoughts you haven't thought before. Ahas, light bulbs, stuff that just whooshes into your brain that you don't have to think about, like Mary explained to Veronica the other day. It's like, it's always sounded like my own thoughts, but they're thoughts that come immediately. Okay, it's all right. It can sound like your own thoughts. Not everybody is going to do well with a voice inside their head that's not their voice. So that's kind of a safety mechanism, right? Insight doesn't sound like somebody from another country with an accent necessarily, because then you might think you were being possessed. Right? So it sounds like you, but it feels different. Or it sounds like you, but you have no idea where it came from. Or it doesn't feel like you, but it doesn't feel threatening. Right? Insight can have a lot of different nuances to it. Getting to know how you get insight is a very important part of where we are now. Okay? Knowing when you're feeling insight. So, as you're there, there's the redwood tree, you're experiencing the redwood tree, what is your insight in that moment? So we're not looking to rethink the same thoughts. We're not looking to project, connect. We're looking for what is the insight in this moment about the experience I'm having. That's going to be your am I in the moment place. Am I in the moment? Am I getting insight? Because that's the only place insight can come. Previously established fact, right? The only place you can receive insight is when you're in the moment, because your soul cannot connect to you when you're in the past or the future, because that's no man's land, doesn't actually exist. And it's usually low vibrational because it's usually fear-based. Conscious connection to the moment, receiving insight, is where the soul can most easily connect with you. Conscious connection to the moment where you're high vibrational, you get your soul's perspective, which is insight. We might have said that the wrong way, but anyway, that's what we mean. Is when you're in the moment, you're open to insight, and when you're in the moment, your soul can actually give you insight. We might have got it right the third time. We think you know what we meant the whole time anyway, right? Okay, good. So the invitation right now, folks, is this. As you go about your experience of you, in that more centered, shoulders over feet way. Shoulders over feet, that's right. In that shoulders over feet kind of way, when you're tempted to the past or future, the Visionaries made it clear what to do there. Just observe. I'm tempted to be in the past here. I choose insight instead. I'm tempted to think about the last time I was at the Redwood Forest. I'm going to choose to be in insight instead. Now, if you consciously wish to relive something that you experienced before, then you say, I am choosing to set aside this moment for reflection. And you make it a conscious act. Instead of just, I don't want to be in the moment because it's challenging, or I don't know how to be in the moment, so I'll just remember or project. Remember or project. That's what you do. But that is going to be the red flag and bring you back into the moment and just open to insight. And then don't think, right? We've done this enough, right? Opening to insight doesn't mean to use your hamster wheel brain. It means I'm opening to something new about what I'm experiencing. Something new about what I'm experiencing. And don't expect it to sound like Eloheim, or to sound like the Guardians, or to sound like the Warrior. Expect that it will be something that you can go, oh, wow, okay, never thought of that before. It never occurred to me before. I wonder if anybody else has thought this thought. Those kinds of feelings. You've all had